vagabonds and marriages, that's going wrong. Glory, death, and coffee shops, TV categories called reality, polluted nature by corrupt ministries. We're all passengers. Let loose on the train. Have fun, don't stay sane. It's a part of the game. Ooh, ha. That rumbling sound. In every building, a gamer and a drunk. Green parks with shitting dogs. Hey policeman, I'm in 3 modern families. Faster, slower, shades on, hit the gas. High, lower, get into the control room. Don't get older. We're all passengers. We're toxic containers. Let loose on the train. Have fun, don't stay sane. It's a part of the game. Ooh, ha. Abstainers, maintainers, rangers, gainers, entertainers, campaigners, retainers. Let loose on the train. Have fun, don't stay sane. It's a part of the game. Let loose on the train. Have fun, don't stay sane. It's a part of the game.
Switch that V6 for the EV, ride around my city. You should come ride with me, yeah. Feel me if you hear me sip water like a fish, sip box water to the gillies, yeah. This a new wave, this a takeover. Do it for the future, time to get a world a makeover. Time never stops, no the timing is not. Time to clean up the block. Streets been a mess, how can I breathe? Smoke in the air, pure gasoline. I see the news, see what you read. Change gotta come, put that on me and watch me educate. Yeah, we been could've started, but it's never late. Do it for my kids, yeah, let's set it straight. Do it for your kids, gotta set it straight. It's time to regulate, we need change now. We need solar, we need EV in the game now. Make it changes so the earth we know can stay around. Make it changes cause we had no time for playing around. Let's quit the playing around. First rule to me, let's keep it clean. Watch how we build, clean to me. Let's keep it clean. Watch how we build, clean air we need. Stuff on the floor, sweep up the scene. We going green, we going green. New car goes zoom, but it's quiet. You can hear me come and think I'm lying. If I said I'm perfect, I'd be lying. I can say I'm perfect, but I'm trying. I'ma give my all till I'm dying. I'm the new Captain Planet, here to make changes, not damage. World on my shoulders while I'm standing. I'm the new Captain Planet, here to make changes, not damage. World on my shoulders while I'm standing. First rule to me, let's keep it clean. Watch how we build, clean air we need. Start from the flow, sweep up the scene. We going green, work as a team. First rule to me, let's keep it clean. Watch how we build, clean air we need. Start from the flow, sweep up the scene. We going green, we going green. I can get you through this when it hurts and it's bad, yeah. Don't ever feel like you're all alone when it's bad. I can get you through this when it hurts and it's bad, yeah. Don't ever feel like you're all alone when it's bad. I can get you through this when it hurts and it's bad.
Road Dog Crypto. For those of you that like I just want to say thank you. Thank you very much.
Whether you're watching live or tuning in later, welcome to Nightly Crypto Charts with the Road Dog. I guess I should go back to my old title, Late Night Charts with the Road Dog. Possibly the worst time to stream in America if you were trying to grow a YouTube channel, but I don't know, man. I'm just kind of a night owl. I can't get away from it. I like this time frame. Although I am trying to transition to the daytime, it has not been working out too great. For one reason or the other. My apologies, but we're looking at the market. Stray Guy, I see you there, my man. How is life tonight? Well, the Bears, crazy day in the market, is it not? I almost didn't stream tonight. I was supposed to put out a video today, and I'm behind schedule on that. Just kind of, I had just one of those days, you know? The market's being kind of crazy. And here it is, me giving out the warning. Beware of the 20th, because not for any particular reason, not because of the Fed, but because it's part of a GAN time cycle. And I still can't find the original chart where I've got that. It is one of these, and I will stumble upon it. But a period between the September 20th to the 27th, it just signifies that it could be a window for a possible, I don't know, maybe a black swan event, or maybe just something to drive us down in the market. And I knew this, and I had these things marked, and I'm looking forward to them, and even have the date marked here. And did I listen to my own advice? No, I made some stupid choices that caught up with me today. In short, oh, Strigger says I'm complaining. Oh, my chat thing's not working. Trigger says, I am complaining today. I am complaining today too. Maybe it's something in the stars there. So, my own stupidity, and this is part of the journey as a trader, because you don't do things perfect. Even when you know what to do, even when you see things coming, you still make some dumb choices, or at least I did. And I don't know, I guess it kind of bummed me out a little bit. But hey, man, those Bears, I tell you what, man, those Bears are not playing. They are driving this market just crazy on these smaller time frames. Now on the 24-minute, you don't see quite as much, but look, man, we had this big. What is this? This is a bunch of crap. But those Bears, I tell you what, they can make an account feel just like and they Bears don't even miss a beat. They just keep on dancing. La 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 la, big money going down too. Your boy forgot to put it on his bear hat, and he knew to be bearish. So I'm suffering from that right now. I own a few things. So over on the old fair desk, some of these guys were low, and they made a nice comeback, and they've done very, very well. And that gives me hope, because I'm afraid to look to see where I am right now. I believe I lost my status, and I believe everybody else is smart enough to play their chips. Oh, we're gonna do it, baby. We're gonna double that, baby. So tonight, Bitcoin, what the is it doing? Well, we're getting that same scenario that we've been through a lot of other times. I'm on a very small time frame here, by the way. That was the 3 minute. Here is the 1 hour. This is what's been going over the past few hours. We've just been boring sideways, but in a range, still flirting with going lower, right? It's basically just making a bear flag. So we got the flagpole, and then we got the little flaggy flag. Look, it's Czechoslovakia. And it wants to bring us down to 25.8. So will that happen? Well, it could. But the bear flags don't always hit off, right? And sometimes there is a reversal, and I'm not trying to be a moon boy here. By any means, the 1 hour is telling me that we are more than likely going to go down. We do have a 50. This is an interesting scenario, and I keep trying to make a mental note of what happens when the scenario happens, because I've seen it play out a lot on different time frames. Where we on this 5 moving average strategy, where we have the 200 moving average, and we have a 9 or a 21 in this case, and then we have the 100, and we have a 50 crossing over it. So we got bombarded with the smaller time frames over these larger ones. It's interesting to me, you know, there's still power in the larger ones to keep us stable anyway. They are kind of folding over, but they are basically on its way up, and they crossed way back here. We're not into real serious trouble until the 100 crosses over the 200. I mean, that's that extra little hit of bearish that we don't want to see. And as we stand right now, there's a chance for recovery by the moving averages. So I'm just making a note, because I've been seeing this a lot, and I keep forgetting how it plays out. Obviously, I think it's down. So we may, and it should kind of force us down here with these crossings, but we should be able to come back up to the 200 at some point. We shouldn't be that far away that we wouldn't come back up and retest that area, because we got to come back and touch this 50 at some point. So if we do come down, at some point we come back to the 50. But she could push us down. And she's under the 9 moving average on the 1 hour. And that's, to me, that is for local, for instant reading, that's bearish. So overall, you're bullish if you're above the 200 moving average. That's this yellow line. And you're typically bearish if you're below it. We are below it. And your trend, your immediate trend, what's happening now, whether you're going to be going up or down, depends on what side of the 9 moving average that you're on. Or hell, why don't you just get out the 3 and then you can narrow it down quicker? Well, the 3 doesn't work like the 9, and my system works with the 9, and the 9 is very reliable on all time frames, especially. It's a secret weapon on the weekly. If we can get past all my flippity-flop there. Those are my GAN studies. See, you're always above the trend or in the 9. It's your little secret sauce to keep aware of. And then when that little 9 starts crossing over that 21, and you know something's going on. And if the 9 ever crosses over the 50, you know you need to be out of the game. And anytime that you drop below the 9, like I said, you are bearish, so that would be easy exit points. Dropping below the 9, could have got out of the market at 58. Just by that alone. There'll be other indicators on smaller time frames, of course. I think my favorite one, which I knew I should listen to, but I didn't listen to it, was this one. The crossing of the MACD right there. That little guy right there. I can't get the yeah, I can. It's just a hair after the crossing where I can mark it right there, right? On the weekly. Boom. Just right after we topped out. And if you got that little cross on the MACD, that was, if you saw it coming, and I did, I stood there staring at that on the weekly. I'm like, it looks like it's curving. It looked like it's curving. It's when it started getting up here and turning around, like right here. I remember staring at that chart and everybody saying, "No, we're going to 150,000." Everybody was, everybody, BitBoy, everybody was on that. And that's very influential. You think to yourself, oh, they won't get me. No, when everything is on fire and you got all the news just pumping it up, you're learning about all these big banks and institutions just, we're thinking about, and just fueling fire. Oh, we're going up again. Yeah, this is a super cycle. You could have got out 55 on that first top. Right in that range, 55, 59, 60. Actually, the wick went, that was the, wait a minute. That was the top. So that week, you could have narrowed it down on the daily. So keep that in mind. And I saw it on the next one. I was like, oh, fool me once, fool me twice. So this little guy, when he started taking a little bit of a nosedive, I was just baby. And then here was the actual cross. Let's see if we can mark that. I can't get right on it. I get right before it or right after. Let's go with right before it since it is a lagging indicator. Boom. Wouldn't have got the very toppy top, but you would have got out in time. You could have seen it right when it was going under that moving average there. Actually, you see it on the weekly, you would just come down to the daily and then you could nail things on the smaller time frames. Like, oh crap, the weekly said we're in trouble. Got to watch the daily and the 4 hour and the 3 day and the daily mostly for something else. So in hindsight, would these have been, this is at the first sign of trouble on the MACD when it said, oh yeah, it's probably time. And this was when it said, hey, MACD said, get out. Would not have worked. Well, you're not trying to catch the top. What's better, selling up here or just doing whatever you guys did? What we did, what a lot of us did. Because after this, you're usually waiting for alt season, right? After Bitcoin tops, we're expecting a blow-off top. That's usually what we happen. Instead, we got the double top. And then we're expecting altcoin season. So hang on to those altcoins. They're going to run in a month. So what happened after that time with altcoins? How can we do this? Can we do it this way? Oh, lordy, 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 lordy. I got indicators on this one, don't I? Oh, yeah, I've got to go to total 3. Well, watch me make a mess of everything, yeah? Let's just move on to the total 3 chart. How did it do on the stochastics? Or not the stochastics, the MACD? Well, sadly, there's not enough information there. Here we go. Right here was the cross. A little late to the game, but if you saw it when it was peaking and turning, that was the very peak. And if you watched it the next week and watched price action, you would saw price action coming down, and this thing would have been angling down too. It would have changed directions, not yet crossed. There was the actual cross, and then this was peak. This is when you would start having to really question right here when you start turning down. Actually, you wouldn't see it there. You would see it right here, right before the cross. How would we have done? How would we have done? That would have been the peak. You wouldn't have, I don't know if you would have. That was the actual peak here. This is when it started telling you to get out just right before the week of it, where we took a nosedive, right when it started turning. And this is where it crossed. So a ton, wow, $300 billion or more left altcoins between where it started tipping and where it actually crossed. And then another 100 billion after that as it slow bled out. And then this was the second pump. So our altcoin season came where our second pump of Bitcoin mostly. That's where our altcoins kind of ran, holding for it after Bitcoin. Well, so they ran right with Bitcoin, and then after, it wasn't really an altcoin season after that, was it? But here's where the cross was there, telling you to, hey, get out of altcoins. So, all this scribble scrabble is my Gann study with all this astrology stuff that happens on these days. It's just a big confusing mess at the moment. But this is my overall macro chart here, if I clean it up from these fibs. And I am still looking for some other periods coming in October. Solar eclipse, lunar eclipse. And then there's another little window in November we're going to have to take a look at that may push us down again too. But right now we're looking right here between the 20th and the 27th. And I can't say, but it looks as though it's going to be a little bit of a down cycle. So we could be seeing that 50. I've been saying this for a while, man. I'm like, dude, it really should come to this 50 moving average before it goes way back up here. It really should. And this is on the weekly chart, 50 moving average coming in right here. Can we get to a cleaner chart? And I've got it marked over here as well. So we did just wick up to test the 9 again. We didn't go to the 21, which I find interesting. Didn't even quite make it to the 200. As far as the weekly goes, so we should retest the 9. If we get rejected, well, we have to come back to the 50. From the 50, bounce back up to the 200 and the 21. But from the 50, it's got a shot to go to the 100. It could do that. Ichimoku Cloud supports that idea. So we were looking at the weekly moving averages over here on Bitcoin, right? When to get in, when to get out. That's also a good strategy to know when to get in. So it's worth looking at this. Here's where it started curving up. Here's where it crossed. So these are the good ones. Man, this song makes me feel like I'm in a video game every time. Hey, it's Stripe. I'm getting on my little tangent over here. I'm sorry, guys. Striga says I trade against myself. I can identify with that. I've seen I found myself caught in bad habits that I thought I was getting away from. You know, things would go right for you, and you think, okay, yeah, I think I'm getting this. And you start feeling better. And the better you start feeling, well, the more you're a lot more inclined to kind of lighten up on your rules a little bit, which sucks. But as long as I'm firm and fast with my rules, I do good. It's when I stray from my rules that it always bites me. And of course, I'm no different on this one. Saw the writing on the wall, warning people about it, and didn't follow it myself. What do you call for a black swan event between 20 and 27? I said it, well, I said if one's going to happen, from what I can gather with what little that I understand about Gann theory, there's a time period there that could be applicable. I don't know that there will be, but it looks like a little window at least where we're going to have some barely bearish activity. There's some kind of action that goes on during those periods. Now, some other people have been calling for a black swan event, even some institutional investors. So I've just got my eyes open for one. I'll say that. I'm not calling for one. I've just got my eyes open because other people are. I don't see anything that suggested other than just the weirdness of that little time period that we happen to be in. And I was pleased. I saw somebody else who does Gann, that explains Gann, and they had this same cycle at the same time period market. Actually, I think they had it ending earlier though. I think they had it ending like the 23rd or 24th. So, but my calculation ran the whole week to the 27th. There were 2 ones. But I thought that was interesting too. So I'm like, all right, so I'm not too far off track on this. Let's see what was going on here. This was a bottom. This was cross. Now we're getting a little curvy curve here. That's a good idea to kind of mark those little curvy curves too sometimes. And so I give you some signals there. Hey, there's some stuff going on here, man. Need to take a second look. But most of the time we ignore those signs. Oh, it's just the weekly, man. It'll take it forever to play out. Oh, yeah. Signs on the wall right up here at 29.8. And we're saying that's a... I don't know where, but where a lot of people were saying, it's a bull flag. We're going up. 38. And there was possibility. Little triple tops there kind of had a warning, but yeah. You would read that as a falling wedge. And just like the rising wedges, Well, right here's an example. Right there's a bigger rising wedge. Or you can look at it as a channel. Breaks to the downside. And this falling wedge did not break to the upside. It went parabolically down. And that's what happens with a falling wedge. 70% chance that they break to the upside. That's what everybody's hoping for. But when they break to the downside, parabolic, strong move. You want out of seeing a falling wedge break to the downside. Cut your losses, go short. And it appears that we are getting rejected here off of this 50 moving average, losing the 9 on the daily. So to me, the daily is officially bearish. Not only that, we also have stochastics coming to the downside, and we got the dreaded red light right here. It just feels like a... You gotta stay out of those bears' ways, man. They'll wreck you. Next place on my list is 26,257 for Bitcoin. And I don't know if we're coming. It makes sense that we would come down to this moving average. This is the 50 moving average on the weekly. It's also the 366 on the daily. Isn't that cool how they just kind of coincide like that? They're kind of relatable. 3-day chart is a nice one to follow too. Now it's a little bit more bullish. Here's what the 3-day chart is saying. 3-day chart saying, yeah, we're coming down, going to test this 9. After we test that 9, there is the possibility that we will bounce up here and test this 200 moving average. I'm sorry, this 21, which is hidden by that line there, by that trend line. Now, generally, the bigger the time frame, the better they play out. So, if I had to guesstimate, I think I would follow the 3 days advice. It seems to be fairly reliable. Price getting rejected off of that 200. We're bearish. There's a chance that we can bounce at 26,228, that area. Maybe. If we do, we'll come back up to meet this little guy, which will probably be a little bit lower. It just depends. We might just wick right up there. Who knows? And if we get rejected from that, of course, we're coming down, but there's also a chance that we can go up and meet this guy up about 27.28. Keep in mind, we are in the middle of a green cloud, so chances are we're getting rejected to the downside. It wants to suck us in and throw us to underneath the red. Now, I've not heard any crazy things in the news. I mean, I do know Powell spoke. I think we're getting a break. They're not going to have a meeting until November, I think. November 1st, 2nd. Something like that. So we get a month off. So I don't think that we're going to just drop straight down to this area, but I mean, we could. We definitely could. If this area here does not hold, that is, that's next on our list. And on the daily, this is what I'm more accustomed to seeing. These other moving averages, I mean, we do have the 100 above the 200 kind of help give us a little buoyancy. So we've got that going for us. So there might be a bounce here off of this 21 daily moving average. So be looking for that. But if that does not hold, then definitely count on dropping down here as we've been rejected from the 200, and this is the next larger one that we've got up. Four hours is dragging us into the cloud. I'm gonna get that crossing the 9 over the 50. That'll be another bump to the downside, and then bringing us down here to 26,200. On this time frame, it's the 200 moving average and also the 100. So we got a double decker. So the 4 hour says, yes, your daily hypothesis might be correct because you do have a double decker down here to kind of catch us and bump us back up at least to the 50 and the 9. So it sounds like sideways, down and sideways over the weekend is what it kind of sounds like. If the double decker does not hold us, well, I got nothing down there, and that would mean the 9 would be crossing and we'd be riding underneath the 9. So I'm not concerned about that yet. Actually, it's kind of a good sign that, you know, we're not just hanging on to that 9 moving average. We're away from it. So we snap back to that. So if you ever see price get away from that 9 moving average, you know it's not going to stay there for long, especially if the 9 hasn't crossed over a bigger moving average. There's a chance you can get snapped back up above it. So depending on how quick how quick this plays out, I mean, being under here over the next few hours, you possibly could just see a quick wick and then come right back up to this 9. But more than likely, with both of these bending over like that, it's going to cross and we'll probably break through that little guy. Or at least give it a good try. There's no signs of, I mean, there's some that's forming. A little bit of divergence forming on the RSI, but it's not there yet. It's not strong enough for us to see any kind of bottom to reverse anything. And so that's one of the things that we want to look at. One of the other cool key strategies that what am I doing here? Okay, yeah, never mind. I had to remember. If you look at both the RSI and the stochastic RSI, can I get both of these up at the same time? I have nothing of importance on this chart, do I? So another awesome strategy for the market, well, it works on any time frame, but it's best if you use it on the weekly. If you're trying to really nail your investments on tops and bottoms, if you can find your tops when the stochastics are topped out and the RSI is topped out, there's your tops. That's the best. That's when you want to exit the market. And if you can find when prices are coming down, when your stochastics are bottomed out and your RSI are bottomed out, those are the best times to buy. Keep it simple for investing. What more do you need? So if we just keep an eye, and you can bring the MACD into it too. Use the MACDs and the crosses on the MACDs and stuff. When you see the MACD rounding up, that's usually when price is starting to go to the upside again. And when she starts going down, oh, it's going down there. So I like this MACD. They've started, it does this now. It starts getting lighter when it starts getting weaker. And then help clue you into, not perfectly, but to some things, right? That's just when they're starting to turn. That's hey man, we need to start taking some notice here. Things may be starting to change. The trend may be starting to change. And so that's when you start seeing just right before some of these things. We didn't mark that one. That one actually nailed it when it turned. And here was a little Humpty Hump, a little small one on the MACD. It's only 3 little uppity cup candles, and this is what you got, and it would told you boom. So those little signs are cool. But the RSIs, when they're down around as low as they can get, right? Or as top as they can get. RSI top there. Here's a top. I'm just going to mark every one of them because we're going to cross-reference it with the stochastics. Chris asks, is anyone in any short swing positions or just scalping? I do have some shorts open. Unfortunately, I mean, I just don't. I have problems when I'm shorting the bottom because I know that's not the best place to short. That's like buying the tops. So it's a dangerous area to short. I mean, the short should have been really when prices were, we got all the green candles and we're going, oh yeah, it's going to keep going. And that's what keeps us from shorting because we got that hope. But then when it comes, we don't want to short until it comes down to the bottom. And that's how the market makers, they get us with that. They know how to work us with those emotions. And I'm looking back at my trades and I'm like, crap, I fell in for it. They got me this time. I'm like, I've got to tighten up my game. I can't let them keep doing this to me, right? Because they will get you to go long at the tops. They will. Just how that they print, how the candles are printed out, especially if you're just watching the smaller time frames. And even if you might get, okay, it's kind of iffy, I'll just watch it. Well, I mean, you're missing the prime opportunities to short. So when you're watching the people that are setting up the ranges ahead of time and stepping out from the big picture, and you know, if you're planning your trades ahead of time, it makes it a lot more easier. But it's the degen side of us that makes us want to kind of just fly by the seat of our pants and not really think out these things. Now, so like, if this thing will work, zooming out just a little bit and establishing the range that they did, right? I mean, technically that's kind of a high range. You can pull out some useful tools like this guy. Let's go from the drop. And it spells out a range right here that's worth noting. Goes up to the 366 moving average. Crazy how that comes into play, and crazy how this one got the top well, so did the 200. So now we've got two ranges, a top range, which we probably won't get into, but if we flip up into it, that'll be something to watch. And we got a bottom range. So taking the Fibonacci of this to that, if you can target like an 886 and a 786 level, and it just barely hit the 786 on that. That would have been the only way you could catch this short, is planning that in advance, just knowing that if, you know, you have to look for a whole range of shorts. So you got to give yourself plenty of room between this area to short and know that, well, if it makes a higher high, you know, we got to keep that in mind too. Because we don't want to put your stop loss up too high. But usually it's safe to go above that. And if it goes above that, you may be looking at a different animal, or it could just stop you out. That's kind of where this guy comes in as being a very safe stop loss, but it's very far away from those targets, so you can't get a tight stop loss. The best ones are the cool ones that you can get a tight stop loss in on, right? So this is the actual short zone. And it wicked up in there. I mean, you could have caught it, and maybe you could have, front run it a little bit, have a little bit more luck. And then once that is established, I just want to mark this area here. This is my little cheat number in case things go south. I like to compare it to my other one, which is the actual true number. The right way to do it. I have a cheat way to do it. So now we're losing our uptrend, so we go swing low to swing high. And now we look at key areas, which is notably somewhere between the 0.5 and the 618. Now there's a golden pocket is at the 0.65 to 618 area. I think comes in right here, right underneath it. So price can go right down here and just right beneath and still keep going up. Or we can come down to this little 1272. This is the actual move. And this is how close my little cheap move gets, but it gets hit too a lot. Sometimes right on it, so there's something to by negative 272. So, and if you wanted to try to long, we're looking at the range, right? Now, this little tool helps out a lot because it establishes a range. And it pretty much nailed this little top area over here too. So, a lot of people using the range trading, you'll see them use that little tool over here, fixed range volume profile. I think that's available on most of your exchanges and everything too now. So we map out this little area here and possibly even lower. In case they do something like if we get a Wyckoff distribution with a Wyckoff spring, this is the area we're coming to. Or a Wyckoff accumulation with a Wyckoff spring. They spring down here before they start taking price up. This is where we're coming to. And this is where my 50 moving average is, right? So this makes sense. Are we getting a Wyckoff deal? We may be getting set up for a Wyckoff. Holy crap, that could be bullish. That could fit into our time scenario, really. That could. I still expect something in November. I don't know. The thing is, if we do come back down here to that moving average and also these fib levels, there's confluence right here, so strong probability that we will probably see those prices, okay? We're going to make a lower low. So what does that look like? Well, we would have this trend line having to connect there with that little guy. I see nothing to hold it. I see nothing to see where that would be valid. So I'm checking out angles. And I just see a downward channel. Which the cool thing about these is that they can break out of the channel. They're actually more bullish than anything. And so far we've just found support on this bottom range. So breaking out of this channel would get us into another, back up into this other top range. It goes from here to there. And is that a possibility? Yeah, actually that is a possibility. And I'll tell you why. Because the 100 moving average and the 200 are so strong. They're strong and they're holding their ground. We got the death cross, so we got to deal with the little sideways until, we can get price gets above the 50 moving average. And it's not happening yet. It's going to have to play around and bounce around a little bit. Will it come down here before it does? I mean, I don't know. It's got a good chance. It could. So some different ways to look at it. If there are plans by the big guys to fake everybody out and get a little discounted Bitcoin in the process, the Wyckoff accumulation is a good little strategy. It usually happens at bottom areas, and if we're doing a double bottom, well, this is the second part of a bottom possibility. Still remember, we got a trend line that we broke, but if the scenario, the Wyckoff scenario, plays out, it would look a little bit like it would look a little, let's see, we're going to catch a little something there coming down. I mean, we could play around in a range for a little while. You could even come back up here, get rejected, come back down into these zones again, and then do the spring, and it makes everybody go, oh gosh, this is it, lower low, everybody's short. And that's exactly what they want, because you break out of this lower level. And this is called the Wyckoff spring, and then we bring back up, start gaining our levels again, does a retest of this area, and then it's gone. So that's kind of how the Wyckoff accumulation area works. Could that be going on? Could be. I mean, it's a good sign. There's people, you know, they want the Bitcoin. I'm not putting it past them. I'm not putting anything past these guys. We're about 6 to 8 months to the halving. And if you don't think that they're not sweating that, yeah, I mean, they're playing this. There's big money at play here. Everybody's starting to talk more and more about crypto. They talk about it in Congress all the time now. All the freaking time. It's one of their major things they've got to deal with. And they can't get around it because everything's pointing back toward blockchain, right? Well, all their financial stuff is. My, you put blockchain and AI together. Ooh, what a combination. And it goes together. Blockchain gonna be AI money. Giving AI value in the world. AI can probably outsmart us and get it all. I don't know. ChatGPT, the 3.5 that's out, has an IQ of 155. Antonius said membership didn't auto renew. Oh, my bad. Well, my bad. I don't have to respond to that. I don't know. I appreciate you that you even attempted to try it. Hey, something happened because you got a new little. It probably won't show up on that screen. It shows up on mine. You got a new little icon. I need some ideas of things to add to value to all this. And I'm trying to, my thoughts right now is my chart room over at the Telegram group, pretty much kind of more making it a little bit more private and just kind of putting it in for, you know, I mean, if you're going to support my channel, I want to give something. And that's just one of the things I can think of. And I need some other ideas, some things to put over there. I'm new to this. I don't know exactly how all this works yet. I'm still figuring it out as I go. I just been trying to get 1,000 subs, which thankfully we've got. And it's the videos, sadly, not the streams, that brings people in. So I've got to I got to chill on these streams a little bit somehow, but still try to do a daily one, so figuring that out. So this is the crazy Wyckoff scenario. Something similar. Not exactly, I'm not predicting. But Wyckoff, rather than being a pattern, it's got, I mean, you can look at it, it's more of a series of events. But when it comes to pattern trading, it fits within our concepts of pattern. So you don't have to learn something entirely new to be successful with this, but you know, as you're in the market, you'll learn something else, somebody else's explanation of what's going on, at these certain points. My explanation, hey, we're in a channel right now, and there's other patterns we can spell out here too as we go into time frames. All this stuff intertwines. So just keep adding tools to your toolbox. So 4 hour, we're still waiting for price to come down here. So that's the only thing. I mean, it was smart to short at the tops up here. Even when you saw the crossover here, 9 crossing the 21 on the 4 hour, that's a good last minute place to short. But shorting now, ooh, that's risky. That is risky. Even though price will come down. What is that? 1%? Yeah. That's a little too risky. I mean, and it could. I mean, this bear flag. It's too risky for me to do. I put it. I mean, to jump in now with fresh ones, it's not the smartest idea. So what I'll say, this is how you can get caught up. Because the market makers say, oh yeah, we'll make it look like we got a bear flag, we're going down. And they may bring it down. They may bring it right back down to this level that it was just at 26.3. And then shoot it. And you're going shorten, and then short squeeze. There we go. However, I will say, this looks bearish to me. I think it will fall. So if anyone is shorting, man, I would look for the trades on those small, nail it on the small time frames and get some tight stops. Like if I was trying to make this play, see, I'm telling you, what happens is when price comes down and we get to a level, especially, you know, look, we're bowling out. That could be an Adam and Eve bottom. That's like a V-shaped recovery type deal right here. We come all the way down and then look how much we came back up. On leverage, that was a big thing. If you're using crazy leverage too. Another thing, consider when markets get uncertain, don't use the crazy leverage. The crazy leverage works. It works when you're in trend. Like if you're here shorting, the crazy leverage paid off. Great. If you were longing here at these bottoms, looking for these deals where we flip support and then we started looking like, oh, we're getting a little bit bullish. Anywhere down here where you put tight stops, and that crazy leverage was wonderful. But the place where I'm finding that is the worst thing is the chop. It's like, it's, you know, the moves up and the moves down. The chop will eat you up, especially if you're trying to play leverage. You're trying to, well, let me get my next position in for that next, yeah, the choppy chop, accumulation, distribution, not good. And that's kind of the point for breakout trading. So you avoid all the choppy chop and you actually jump in after the trend's been established, if it's going up or if it's going down, and then you jump in and you ride it. And a lot of us, and me too, you know, we're trying to get, if we're shorting, we're thinking, oh, we're going to short this, you know, we're trying degen and trying to buy the top of the patterns, and when it works good because you get in earlier, take more profits, right? But when it goes against you, I mean, it's always have to keep that in mind and plan accordingly. And sometimes we break our rules, and it's a bad time to break your rules. So moving averages coming down here, and they're starting to twist up and have their little colorful rainbow orgy or whatever, right? Well, when they do that, and I'm looking, well, what's the relationship? Where are they staying? Well, now they're getting in order, right? We got the 9 on top, and then the 21 is trying to reclaim. There's a chance it can. We're in the red Ichimoku cloud, can spit us out. sometimes what happens, what I see is, another one will come down, and then it will kind of drag them down, and then they'll come back and go sideways again. We saw it this is a lot like what we saw last month. Same boring setup that we had back there when we first had a drop. Where was that? Oh, well, yeah. This whole thing, we're just doing it on a smaller time frame. We're still in this whole thing. We're still caught up in this move. So not too terribly away from short, Bill. If there is some freakiness where it does the little bridge pattern, and it breaks to the upside of this bearish pattern, we may come up here, we may come back up, retest the areas of the breakout. And that might be a possible short area. Unless it decides to keep on going. I don't see that yet. So 3-day, I think, really gives you the most insight as to what's going on. And we were looking at getting across, but now they're starting to get the little duck lips, right? It's starting to get hesitant. It's starting to roll over a little bit. So keeping our eye out on that on the 3-day, because that's a big thing. So this rolls over and then that comes down and this starts just wounding down. Yeah, we got a big move, or a bigger move, coming down to the downside. Not cool. Looking for any kind of divergence there. And we still have that divergence on the RSI that gave us the pump up. It was this one right here where it's going up. And here we're going down. And we got the pump up. So, but there's no divergence up here just yet. At least on these forming on these bigger time frames that I can see. Because those are all still aligned, which means basically there's nothing there to hold it down from going up too far. Overall, I'm bearish, but I'm not trusting them just yet. I'm just not seeing I'm not seeing the bearish confirmations that I need just yet. Like this 9 crossing that 21. That's what I want to see. Until it crosses, we can ping pong between them or break out to the upside of that 9. We could be finding support here on the 21 until it actually comes down. Until I see a cross there on some of these bigger time frames, I'm not confirming a big, huge move down. The smaller time frames are looking a little bit bearish there. You can post some of your trades for paying patrons. Yeah, that was my idea with the chart room. So, Chris, what I was thinking about doing. We got the lounge, and that's where the bot is. And I'm working on getting another bot in there from Big Unix. I think because our group's private, it was giving it problems, and that's why these little commands haven't been working out. What did I do? What did I do? Okay. So the lounge is the ones I do have in the description. I did take the chart room out of the description. I haven't, but all these are private groups anyway. But I was thinking about making this section just well, grandfather and everybody that's in here. We got, what, 30 people in there? So whatever I decide to do, whoever's already a member can stay a member for life. But I was considering toying with the idea of letting this be a benefit for memberships, for YouTube memberships. I don't know, still tossing out, but I need to add something of value for YouTube memberships. And they got different levels, and so and I did think about, for the higher levels, where I can put the courses and all this advanced stuff, more advanced stuff, and maybe even student charts, the teaching area and stuff up in there. Of course, whoever's already there stays. I mean, pile in, maybe, if you want free stuff. I've got lots of resources scattered all across those rooms, books, videos. I mean, everything. If you're trying to learn this stuff, I've got all the information there. You just got to go through it and start putting it into practice. This is interesting. Civilis megaphone, baby. So from that kind of, what's that? We need to count that. So 6, and it's still a bullish megaphone, baby. Road Dog, you getting bullish? Road Dog just watching the charts. Road Dog just looking for the signs. Road Dog is not predicting, but this could be we could be finding an area here. The way that you would know is if we jump up above this 9 moving average, if we reclaim that, then, well, we're trying to climb back up. And nothing can knock us down until we get to this 50. I mean, the 200, but chances are, if you break above the 21, you're probably going to jump up above the 200. You would have to see. Okay, it looks something like this, and then go to the 200. And it might get rejected there, come back, and then 50, 200. It's got to dance. Price dances within these moving averages, and it's beautiful. You just got to watch them. And if you're not sure what it's doing, you go down to the smaller time frame. And you watch it, and it'll give you clues to what the bigger one's doing. And the bigger one's trying to go up. And that's what the 15 minutes saying. So I think it's trying to actually do an Adam and Eve right here. That should be interesting. I mean, it's Thursday, tomorrow's Friday, so they might pump the market up. I mean, they ripped it today. Threw everybody off their game, right? I wouldn't doubt that they would try to come back up to the top of this pattern. I don't know that they would have time to bring it back up to the top, back up to the short times, but if it does, if the market makers do this tomorrow, oh gosh, Bitcoin's going to the moon. I mean, it would have to start pumping. I mean, you'd probably start seeing something about 5 or 6 in the morning with the UK time. And there would be UK setting it up and US pumping it through the morning and probably afternoon. But I would say by afternoon, if you're lucky to get up here, short. It may only, and that's if this pattern were to play out. That might be a possibility. But tomorrow being Friday should be kind of interesting, and market makers like to play with us and set us up for the weekend. You gotta be wary of these market makers, man. And their job, I mean, and they're hired out for these exchanges. They get paid to do this, and then they capitalize from all this too, right? So you have actual real buyers and sellers on spot, just scattered, all over the board. Well, the market maker's job is to keep prices, to keep those levels full. Most of the orders you're seeing on the order book are the market maker's money, right? Just filling in between the places where the actual orders are set. So real order here, real order here, real order here, real order here. Market maker it fills all the stuff in the middle. Price might actually be sitting here. It's because market makers just got all the stuff filled, and they can move price within a range, and they do. I think I find the market makers fascinating, and I just wonder if there's like a collaboration, if this is just happening naturally unfolding, or the algorithm that's used. Because there's more than one market maker, but everything stays consistent. So I just find that amazing. But then I find technical analysis and the mathematics behind it, all those ratios and how things repeat and scale and just do different. Studying Gann is just freaking far out. Choke Balder's time enough to, hey, welcome to the stream, man. So I can barely, you're talking about the bear. Yeah. That's a strong bear. That bear is tough. Hard to destroy that bear. One Bitcoin ETF before the halving will send us to the next planet's moon. Yeah, that news would be great. I totally agree. So the thing is, I mean, we got Bitcoin doing some crazy stuff, and of course I guess we're going over the boring stuff now. If you guys want to look at altcoins, got any questions or anything, want to take a look at altcoins, I'm happy to do that. Otherwise, I just gotta check out the market index right now. Trying to see if it's safe enough to get into a few things. Very few things I'm interested in right now. There's some good prices out there. I'm just wanting to make sure. I'm tired of riding things up and down on my hodl bags. It's getting to me. I'm getting bored. And that's what, we're at that point of the market, man. But whatever you do, don't get scared and sell out of a project. If you really believe in it and you've got a hodl bag, I mean, rough it through, because in a few months, that all will change. If you're in some bad positions or something, the stuff will change. Yeah, you'll have to ride it in. You got opportunity cost or whatever, but things do turn around in this market if you're in some decent projects with utility. And sometimes the question of utility is a little questionable. Total 3 market cap. See, what I'm finding here is that this particular moving average, this big fat red one right here, well, it's got a particular number that I just put in here as a joke, but found it to be very relevant. And I call it Lucy's line now. Short for Lucifer. And getting under it, it seems to be, price seems to struggle once it does get under it, right? Once it gets under there, it seems to just want to keep it under there. But we got our moving averages crossing over it, so all of them are crossing over the bigger time frames. This is bearish right here, and the 200 crossing over this bigger one on it. Well, that's just like what we see with the smaller time frames when the 9 crosses the 21 or something. My red one crosses the green, or green crosses down on the red. It pushes us down. So total 3 are altcoins. Look like we're going to be seeing some downside, especially probably. Well, this is a 15-minute chart here. We're currently retesting this trend line. Now, I find this a little bit interesting, so I want to zoom out. So there on the reading the 15-minute, trying to judge the weekend here. So the best thing you can do, especially if things ever get confusing, zoom out to the big picture, go to the weekly, go to the monthly if you need. Monthly can add some clarity. How's this look for the monthly? If I was on the 5-minute, 15-minute, 1 hour, I saw this, I would say bearish. 9 moving average across the 50. 21 is kamikaze down on it. monthly does not look good there on the moving averages. There is some hidden bullish divergence. And I can't trust this trend line because I can't get a good, well, if I go to that wick, I can, but I think we already broke that. Well, that does actually work. We got wicks here to support that. So we've broken a trend line on altcoins. I mean, it looks like we're going to get decimated and come down at least to this area. I think this was we got a 786 area here, so that's our next stop. So I see money possibly coming out of the altcoins over these next few months. This is a monthly chart. I mean, this could go into, I don't know. This is not looking healthy for altcoins. And I can't imagine some of these getting lower than what some of them are now, but that's how this bear market time or the cycle will kind of surprise you. Because you will see coins go down 90% and then you can see them go down another 90%. And you're like, what? You went from $100 down to $1 or down to $10. And now you went down to $1? Yeah. They can. 2 week is also looking bearish. We're under the 9 moving average, so we're still working our way down. And look, our MACD is just, it hasn't crossed bearish yet. We're still bullish. It's tired though. There's no signs of divergence that we need that would really kick us to the upside, and we got to fight with this trend line. It may come up and retest this trend line, possibility. It may come down before it does that. It just looks like it's going to be rough for altcoins. That's just all I'm saying. It just looks like it's going to be rough for altcoins. The weekly suggests that there may be a little bump up here, though. MACD says when the MACD is sideways like this, what that is saying is this is no trade zone, man. This is all trash. This is all whipsaw action. This is sideways movement, accumulation. This is not the time to trade. Although you could use it for accumulation. I mean, DCA strategy for your altcoins, I think, is great. All for that, but trying to actually long them or just jump all in on one right now, I think you can see some lower prices is what the charts are telling me. We're under the 9 on the weekly. It wants to bounce up. We may get above the 9. We probably won't get above that. I mean, we can see maybe $25 billion more come in before we get rejected, possibly. And the daily, well, that's great. So this is what's taking us into the weekend. And this is where we're doing the retest of this trend line here on our altcoin. So we lost on the daily. So far, some candles not closed yet, but we're below the 9 on it, bouncing off the 21. So curious in short term, if the weekend, I mean, if we do, we'd have to get a bounce, but it's saying if we break back into the pattern, that's not good. But if we get a bounce, that might be helpful. But the bigger picture I'm seeing here, there's still a lot of downward pressure. I don't see us getting up very high. So altcoins, I'm not seeing a good picture yet. Shorter term time frames say there might be something short term. So maybe tomorrow, maybe see something a little over the weekend, but I'm not sure that everything's going to pop off. We'll just have to keep checking on that. Smaller time frames are starting to look good. Still, they have their limits, and the bigger time frames aren't looking good. So that just basically kind of spells rejection at some point. That even if small time frames rally up and maybe we go a week, altcoins are doing good and we take advantage of it, but they can come down, and the bigger time frames are saying their down is coming. So it might be something you want to think a little bit about and prepare. I mean, I'm not going to sell off my bags at these lows. That's not happening. I'm just saying I'm not going to take the dry powder that I have left and dump it all in right now, because I'm even trying to look for opportunities to even get a little bit more dry powder for some of these better prices. I lost my chat again. You know, an hour's already went past. We haven't even looked at an altcoin. I'm going to be mad if it goes up when I'm sleeping. Man, well, silly me tonight. I was over here trading this 1 hour. Or 1 minute, I think. Yeah, it was over here. So I think we were on this little guy. You know, we got our moving averages over here, and I was actually hedging. I was trying a little hedge trick, and I was both long and short. And then I got stupid and closed when it bumped up over here. For some reason, I had this hedged perfectly balanced, and I did stupid. When it went up, I closed my short, and then what happened? It came down. And that kind of sucked. And not only that, I mean, I had stops, so anyway, I was mostly going long, and I can't remember where it was, but I fell asleep, and then the market turned on me. And I woke up and I was like, oh crap, we're all the way, well, I'm on Bitcoin and not total too. That's probably why it's not making sense to me right now. Yeah, somewhere this one surprised me. That really messed me up right here. Now it looks like we're recovering a little bit, so Curlio. So very small time frames look like Bitcoin's trying to go up just a little bit. Remember, zooming out, we're still in this range, man. Nothing exciting. Might see a little bit of a pump, but smaller time frames are starting to look a little better. Bigger ones are saying, nuh-uh, baby. Which chart am I on here? Oh, this is my regular. And this was 2017, 28. This was the last bottom. This is 2019. This is where we were last bull cycle. I'll put it that way. From the bottom, right? Yeah. From the last bottom. And just how it played out. And it also, you know, we had some drops until the halving, and we had a drop right during the halving, right before the halving, and then we started climbing up. Oh, look, I still got these pictures over here. Can't see what they are, though. Oh, geez. Just trying to find a chart I hadn't marked on. This one, oh yeah, this is my range where I got marked out, right? So monthly, let's take a look. Stochastic's coming down on the monthly. Green dot on the monthly. VWAP crossing over on the monthly. Money flow in the red. You just barely see a sliver right there, but money flow just now starting to go into the red on the monthly. Checking out quarterly right here. Quarterly's going a little sideways, so that's helpful to know. VWAP coming up a little bit, but we're kind of sideways on that. Not a whole lot of information here. Stochastics. Okay. So that would have been the quarterly. And quarterly's not bad. It looks sideways. I mean, money flow's still in the red. Monthly is a problem. And there could still be pumps, you know, even though we got that red dot. And on our 2 week, we can see where the money flow is getting deeper and deeper. And stochastics coming down to the downside, and they can bottom out and just go flat for a long time. Weekly's looking a little interesting though, because weekly's looking a little bit bullish. Money flow's still in the red here, but we're getting ready for a possible green dot here. And VWAP's starting to go up, stochastics are headed up. So that's kind of interesting. So weekly saying there may be some upside. So if that's true, then we could possibly be getting a bounce to the upside shortly. Meaning that maybe tomorrow, this little bearish megaphone or bullish megaphone that we're in may be the pattern at play here. And I would say that if anything, we may wick down 26.3, but we have a good shot with the bigger time frame to maybe, depending on market makers, wicking us up. But then the bigger time frames, that monthly is going to kick in. We may see a double top over here. I don't know. There may be a short area. We looked at that scenario, so that's what I'm kind of guesstimating possible for tomorrow. That one little last hurrah before the weekend, probably in the morning, and then by 1 o'clock, we'll probably have a good idea about where we'll kind of stay for most of the weekend. Everything will be dull and boring as it usually is on the weekend. I feel like there's only one good trading day during the week. And it's usually not Monday. It's usually like a Wednesday. It's like Thursday, everything gets and then we start the whole weekend process all over again. So the retail is not here. It's just the OGs, the new degens, and the old money. I'm screaming through the monitor. Did I do that? Crypto Goat. Opinion about Kaspa. Yeah, let's take a look at Kaspa. So that was my video. That's what got us. I got away from videos and went live streaming for 2 months, and my subs just died. We were like, just needed like maybe 25 to get to 1,000 when I started going heavy on the live streams. Couldn't do it for 2 months. Do one video, come back and do one video, and just get them all. So we were looking at the possibility in the video taking a short up here. My recommendation was about this 57, 58 level to put a trigger order in. That way, if well, we have to go back to the bigger picture and explain my overall thesis. So we're basically in a rising wedge. These are bearish. 70% of the time they break to the downside. A lot of times back to where they start. Sometimes not as far. However, when things get bullish, and this was what I was talking about, a possibility, because we've seen it happen on some of the coins. Tether was one of them. Where you break to the upside of this, it will go parabolic. It may not even do a retest. I drew a retest in there. Usually it's just like, it takes off. So I recommend doing a trigger order there to catch it. And the possibility, if you want to shorten that box. And that's where we went to the 272s. Those are my magic fibs. And the 141 probably got hit. But those levels, trusty short zone. I think this was the 141, so 141 didn't. 272 got hit here and also here. We could have fine-tuned it, but we didn't. Because we got a little short box. And down we go. So right now we're looking to find support here at 4.2 cents on this 21 moving average on the daily. Now if that holds, we may play around in this area for a little while and may not just come down. But and we also have the 50 moving average there. To me, this is bullish because the 21 crossed over the 50. That's bullish. We just come down and test 21. We could come back up from this. We did break trend, so you got that. What's all this? Gosh, that must have been when I was shorting it on the smaller time frames. So I mean, I'm on the daily right here. So this area right here, let's mark that. Oh, let's go neutral, because we could get a bounce here. But if not, then things don't look as good. But a strong possibility to get a bounce there. Come back up to our 20, but we're kind of, you know, it'll probably kind of flag. It may start looking bullish. But if we lose these areas and come back to the bottom of the trend line, I'm not sold that we're headed toward the bottom of the trend line just yet. I think we may flag out, test the top of it one more time, and then come back down. And I could be totally wrong on that. So there you go. Let's see. Let's take a look at a few other things that can give us some better insight here. We got bearish divergence right here on the daily. That's what's bringing us down, making us break trend. And this area coincides with the 618. I would mark it out that that's 618. So a good chance we get a bounce here and maybe come up and flag. If we do get a bounce, there is a chance that we may come up and make a higher high, but still not break out of to the upside of this bearish channel. Now I've got this major trend line here going through the candle bodies, and that's usually what I go by. But I also got the extents to on the wicks right here. And so if we don't make it, that's the furthest extent of the trend line, to know that you're going to outside of it and then possibly going parabolic. So I still think it's a good idea putting stops about 58, and I got that because it's above this line. There's a chance that this price could, I mean, we're not going parabolic, is not off the table yet. I'll put it that way. It's still a possibility, but we just got to see how it acts. It's also a possibility that we break to the downside of this pattern. Now, if that happens, then we're going to see some yummy prices, which I'm going to scoop this little guy up. And, you know, we got different levels to watch for that. So this is the, this is short that I've got, or is that the, and that's if it went right up to the very top. We didn't do it from right here. I thought we did it from there. And I've got a buy zone here. It's basically a 618 Fibonacci, and that's 2 to 3 cents, and that's yummy for these prices, right? But considering the market formation we got here, and if we do get a break from that downside, I mean, we could be looking at 1.5 up to 2 cents. Very possible. It doesn't seem like it now, and it never does. But you'd be surprised how this stuff works out. So, but right now, we're not in trouble for that. We're not looking at that yet. We still got a lot of barriers to get to these lower prices, but it's still in a good setup to do that. I mean, this is a bearish pattern. But as long as our moving averages are still going this way, we're still good. Look, the 200's moving nice and up. 100's right above it, parallel. 50's above it, parallel. It's just these two little scragglers here chasing price action, the 9 and the 21. Those are the two little puppies that are running around, running in and out of everybody's legs. And it bounced off the trend line. It didn't touch the 100. So the trend line is very strong, very valid. But a good chance to bounce from 42 cents, and there may be a long to be had there. Remember, that was the 618 of this particular move. And the lower extremity you look for is at 786, and if we break below that, we broke the trend line. And even if it got a bounce here and came back up, I would not trust this. I would look for more downside. But if I had to make a call, if I had to make a call. Four-hour suggested it does get a bounce here. But I'm telling you, man, with that daily, I'm eyeballing this right here. I don't know if you were here early in the stream when we went over this and how effective this was on the weekly with Bitcoin and everything, but this one says it's time to get out. So just throwing that out there. The MACD here speaks of a much bigger move to the downside. It's not official, not until they actually cross, but the warning sign has been shot that this was your short or get out. And this may just be part of the stumbling process down to that. The daily MACD suggests that we're ready to break it. The shorter time frames are saying we might get a bounce. So I would say be cautious if you're trying to long this. There's a good possibility on these smaller time frames. These two moving averages, 200 and the 366 could hold. The only thing that I would point out is that they're in a bearish formation. The 200 is beneath the bigger one. That's bearish. It would be a totally different story if the 200 was above that one. But to me, this gives it a, what would you say? It's finding support here right now at the 100. And there could be a short-term bounce back up here to about 48 before we come down here. But to me, reading between the lines and paraphrasing just a little bit, the way that these are stacked is kind of like an open door, or, you know, a revolving door. That's a passage that probably won't put up as much resistance to come on down. I'll just keep that in mind. I'm being suspect about this area holding. It's got a chance. It can, by technical analysis, 618. It definitely can. But if we're reading the subtleties in the market here, these two being out of order, yeah, there may not be as much friction there to keep it from coming through as if they were in the right order. It's polarities in a way. Chris says, Road Dog just really helped me learn a lot for free. That is what I'm all about. I don't know. I got a passion for teaching this stuff. I can talk about this stuff all day. And talking about it, I mean, I'm not going to sit there and go over dry, boring courses or anything. It's about getting your hands dirty. You know, whether it's a demo account or just throwing $100 into an exchange or something. Speaking of which, if you need an exchange, you've probably seen the little graphics floating around. There are links in the descriptions below. I'm finding the ones that are US friendly, and I've got several over there. Beardisk is one, and they're good for leverage, and they also have copy trading if you're in on that. Hot to that. Bitmart is good. They've got a ton of coins. They got great for spot. I don't know that US and Canada can do margin or futures there, though. I had high hopes for margin, but I haven't been able to have success getting that set up yet. But spot is on, and they've got it. Like MixC, so that's a great other one. And then we got BitUnix, which is also another one. No problem with Americans or Canadians, and they got a good selection, and they got futures there as well. So some good exchanges there. Links are in the description. Always good to open up exchanges, have a place for liquidity to find those coins that you can't get on other ones, to unload the ones that being delisted from other. You need multiple exchanges, you need multiple accounts, and I would be honored if you would use my links if you are in the market to set up another exchange. And those are some good ones to go with. But just always remember, don't hodl your coins on the exchange. Get in, get out, buy spot, move it to your wallet. Not only does that help keep low liquidity on the exchanges, which makes the circulation dwindle, all right? It means that, you know, that supply is not available on that exchange. It helps if everybody do that. We saw the effect with Bitcoin. Everybody pulling all their Bitcoin off the exchanges. What happened? Well, it helped the prices go up and stay up because of the low liquidity. Just the fact that everybody took it off. So take your coins off just for that alone. Other thing, stay safe. You don't want another FTX thing to happen. I'm not saying that any of these exchanges would, but we never know. I've seen so many exchanges crumble, either from something happening on the inside or just from regulation. Look what happens to Binance. Look what happens, KuCoins we already had to drop US and Canada. I mean, all the big money is, they're missing a good chunk of audience, of liquidity. So you need to spread it around, get some exchanges, but just don't keep all your money there. Chris says, this is my first year of trading, not just DCA investing. Chris has been posting a few charts over there in the student area, man. He has come a long way. He's got it now. This is the time in the market when you want to sharpen your skills and learn some new things. And just look, the basics that I do on here, man, that's all you need. Is more than you need, really. Some of the stuff that I bring out. I mean, this indicator here, you see it all over YouTube. Market Cipher, right? Well, there's also a free version called VMC Cipher B. That's what this is. You don't have to go with all these expensive subscriptions. I mean, no disrespect to Crypto Face and what he's got going on, but some people aren't there yet. I wasn't there. You bring $4,000 into the crypto, hard-earned money, and then you got everybody trying to get you for subscription fees. $100 a month for this, $500 a year for this, $500 a year. Everybody wants $1,000. Everybody wants $100 a month of your money. One, to teach you stuff that you can learn on Investopedia. Everything that I'm teaching here, you can go learn on Investopedia or thepatternSite.com, Thomas Bukowski's site over here. We're not reinventing the wheel. You just get some basic indicators. RSI, MACD, stochastics are 3 good ones. Luckily, this guy just combines a bunch of them. I like this guy. I can look at this at a glance and get a picture of what's going on in the market. Once you get used to it, it's not complicated. It just looks complicated. Moving averages are a must. 5 moving average system has been a game changer for me. Some people just throw up 1 or 2 moving averages. They might watch the 1, they might watch the 21, they might have a strategy. Possibly got to come down to the 21. They're missing the beauty of the 9 and how the 9 interacts with that 21. They're missing all the intricacies because they can't, they're using a different system. Ichimoku Cloud, I don't even use it properly. I just got it in the background. It just helps me know when when I should stay in or be cautious, stay out of a trade, and likely what direction it might go in. So it just gives me peace of mind. I just like to keep it in the background. But it can offer some clues that are helpful. So you just keep adding these things over time. Chris says he's still learning a lot. And we got resources there, and I've got some videos there from trading groups, screen shares, lessons. My own videos are over there, and then we got books from, everything you need. And Tony says, I'm not on Telegram. Oh, well, you ought to. If that's what you're trying to do, if you're trying to learn how to do this stuff, it's pretty cool. And we got a bot over there. We got a TA bot. In the general, I can't even navigate my own thing. I do have a maze over there. I will give you that. I was not savvy on how to set this thing up, so I have several different things. But we got a TA bot that will do, let's see, TA will do Kaspa. Let's see if it'll do Kaspa. Sometimes it's funny. So, this is CoinTrends bot, which, man, they're a good portfolio tracker and overall information. I don't have the website pulled up, but they have a website, but they also have this bot that we have over in our Telegram group. And so for Kaspa, it's saying, baby, this sucker says it's going to go down. This got all these warning signs. Oversold, oversold, oversold. Oh no, bearish, bearish, bearish. You get an AI strategy. This guy, the guy's in our group, the guy that does his bot. He comes in and tells us about all the new stuff he's added and stuff. So it's doing an AI strategy, and we can get an analyst by AI. And then there's also, I think you can get it to chart. I'm working it crazy right now. I think you type chart, right? I think it's that. I don't know. You hit this little line here and it brings up all the commands to tell you what everything does. It's got tons of commands, things you can do. But look, it brings up. So shout out to Coin Trends. I don't think I've given them as much time as they deserve. I can't get this thing out. So look, I had it pull up a chart on Kaspa, and this is what it's got for trading ideas. And what does it say for Kaspa? This is what our Coin Trends AI bot. Oh, we got ChatGPT AI in this. Cool. Current sentiment: market for Kaspa USDT on KuCoin is currently bearish. The RSI is at 28.21 and the CCI is at negative 137.58, indicated downward pressure. Conclusion: based on the information provided, the market for Kaspa USD appears to be in a downtrend. The price is below the 50 moving average and the TD sequential indicator shows a downside trend. I haven't even looked at that. Advice: in this type of market, it may be advisable to avoid entering long positions and consider potential shorting opportunities. Traders could monitor the price action closely and wait for confirmation of a reversal before considering any bullish positions. Here's the trading strategy. This approach involves holding onto a particular asset for a period of time. Swing trading. So it's just breaking down. It is suitable for Kaspa as the current indicators show the asset is oversold status, RSI of 28, money flow index of 21, providing possible opportunity for an upward swing. Kind of contradictory what it just said about being bearish, but listen. TA is contradictory. I'm just telling you. A swing trade versus a short trade, or a shorter trade. Trading stocks monitor price movement as the asset is touching the lower Bollinger Band and the RSI and MFI indicators show it is overside. It can be a good opportunity to buy. Let's do that live. This is Kaspa. Let's just break down what he's saying. What he's saying. I'm not seeing the time frame though. That's the only thing I'm not getting. So I'm just going to guess that we're on daily. Let's do the Bollinger Bands. So Bollinger Bands are the blue ones. All right, it says monitor price movement as prices touching the bottom of the Bollinger Band, and I totally agree. You never want to buy when prices are at the top of the Bollinger Band, because I mean it can ride it up, and then it doesn't. Unless it comes down. Now, I like Bollinger Bands because there's usually a pattern to how this works. It usually comes and it will find, it will catch on this 20 moving average and you bounce around there and it'll either bounce immediately and go back to the upside if it's bullish, but most of the time it'll just catch and then we always come back to touch the bottom band. That's usually how it works. And then it bounces from there, goes back up to that middle, and it either rejects. It goes back to the bottom of the band or it gets above it and then it goes to the top of the band. So you play it all around the middle on the Bollinger Band. And once you get past the middle, you're pretty safe in knowing which direction that you're headed. So I like Bollinger Bands. I advise newbies to use them and pros to use them alike. So buy at the bottom of the Bollinger Band, I totally agree. It says purchase. Make the purchase when price begins to rebound upward. That means bouncing off of this. You got to see an actual bounce, like what it started doing here. We got to bounce. This was the bounce. So you can risk. You can be a degen and buy when you're down here, but just know you're taking that risk for it to just keep going. But when you actually start seeing the trend start, that's the safest and best time to buy in. And it's hard for degen minds. It's hard for me to do sometimes. I'll admit that, but it's easy. I mean, think about this. You buy here, snap it, we're on the bottom, and then you got to watch everything go down and stress it out. Was it going to go up? Or did we do it right? Are we good? Are we good? versus when you buy when the trend's already established and you just watch your number go up. Here you're watching your $500 or whatever turn into 475, 480, 460, but here you're watching your 500 go 525, 550, 575 or whatever, because you're just riding that trend. And I mean, that's how it's supposed to be done. Sometimes we break the rules. Sometimes it works and sometimes it spanks us on the butt. Rules are good. So set a stop loss order to limit potential loss. Set a stop loss order below the current price. A level close to the lower Bollinger Band can be a good starting point. So like under this 200 moving average would be a good place to put a stop loss if you're buying on this. My only thing is that I still don't like breaking that rising wedge, which it would do if it came down to this lower Bollinger Bands. Just saying that, but still, it's still in our buy area. Even when we broke that, our 618 is still right here at that 200 moving average, so it's maybe interesting. But yeah, if you're not in the not in there, there's lots of good information over there. And I tried to keep some updates and charts and things like that. This is basically my view on Bitcoin. I like this chart because we still are in this channel overall. And this right here, which apparently did not take advantage of enough myself when I posted this one. But this one also shows coming down to the bottom of this pattern. This is overall pattern of Bitcoin. We're in a rising channel, and if we break the 23,000 area, then downside, but we got a good chance of getting a bounce here. Chris says the group is free and so is Telegram. Yeah, it is free. Lots of great resources. Road Dogg posts lots of info and trade setups. Yeah, I haven't been doing as many trade setups. If I get more people over there and more involvement and stuff like that, and when the market turns around, that's I don't want to post setups over there that aren't going to do anything. I've been in trading groups, and they just post all these symmetrical triangles, and that's mostly what they post. And I hate trading those because they hardly ever work out. But I don't know, the way some of those groups work, it's just kind of weird. I think they post just to post, and if something pops off, that's the only ones you hear about. I tried to weed through these. I tried to make sure that I'm getting some that I think have a good chance of playing out. And early on, I was posting all the ones that the trading group were add to, and there's some examples in there, and you can see for yourself. A lot of those were, I'm just not impressed with them. Striga says, I'm not trying to make money, I'm trying to find new ways to lose. Oh, mercy. But yeah, Chris is my, I think I'm making my lead admin over there. If not, he's supposed to be my lead admin over there. But actually, yeah, I forgot what I was going to say. How I was wanting to try to, so I've got this area for trade subs. I'm got this open to where, you know, if you chart and you're comfortable with posting setups, I've got it there. You're welcome to. I want other people to be able to post there too as they learn, and that way this group starts getting some synergy. And then I may have one just separate for me to post in, but I'd like to, as everybody learns technical analysis and gets more custom, you know, start posting charts. Chris is starting to do it over in the student area. I want to show one of his charts here. This one right here. Great job. Look at that. He analyzed it perfectly. BNB 4-hour time frame. And man, he phrases like a pro. He's really, I mean, I like the way he described it. Possible descending is the word's possible. He caught that right off when I told him about that. When we go into this, we're looking at patterns and maybe watching some YouTubers saying, oh, cup and handle, or I don't know. They're calling off head and shoulders or whatever, but you know, and there, it might be, it might not be. You watch a lot of those cup and handles, a lot of some of these guys throw out these scammy cup and handies, they don't play out. Some of them are just kind of, they're not really following the rules, and they're not following what Bukowski or even the person that came up with the cup and handle, O'Neill, they're not even following his stuff. Some of them just chasing cloud, I think. But anyway, look at this. Possible? The word, what I was trying to say is possible. We use the word possible. Chris picked up on this easily. So we say possible because it's not confirmed yet. So possible descending triangle forming, and you can see that right there beautifully. Currently oversold on the 1, 2, 4 hour time frames. He's checking multiple time frames and letting you know it's oversold on all of those. That's totally important. Measured move could take price around to around $170. So he's looking for this thing to break through the downside. 47% chance to break out to the downside, and volume typically decreases before the break. Awesome. I won't blow your mind on all my GAN stuff, but if you need something, if you're looking for something advanced that will blow your mind, the GAN methods over here, watching these videos by Michael S. Jenkins, oh my gosh. I've even got the software over there that he uses. Amazing. That stuff will blow your mind. William D. Gann was the greatest trader of all times. All right, guys, apparently I like to stream all night and go 2 hours. Chris says the coin turn spot's pretty cool. I'd like to use it more. He's adding more and more features. I'm really glad we got that. I'll make sure I keep that subscription up on that. We've got the pro version over there, and it's free for you guys to go play with. If you got questions, I mean, I'm happy to help you out, but I'm not always timely over there to put a chart out or something. If you got a question, that coin turn bot can give you some helpful information on the fly. All right, so sticking with my goal of 45-minute to 1 hour streams, didn't make that tonight. Getting my sleep schedule straightened out. It's probably not going to be solved tonight, but you know, we're, God willing, working with it. Gotta leave it in God's hands because Lord knows I can't do it. Road Dog, some live scalp trades would be cool to add to your streams once in a while. Yeah, I've been considering that, and that goes hand in hand with the exchanges are wanting me to do that too. And as soon as I get my head on straight again, I'll be doing that. I'm falling off my game today. I just did some stupid stuff, and I'm not wrecked, but I just kicked myself. I was like, I fell for their trick. I'm supposed to be smarter than this by now, and I fell right into their trap. And it sucks. It sucks when you know better and you don't. It sucks worse when you see it ahead of time and you don't follow your own advice. So I'm having to process that at the moment. Watching Kaspa dump here on the 1 hour. Did you already break trend, Kaspa? No, okay. Jeez. So, anyway. It's all super playing, so the new chains till the dirt hits. It's all super plans on new chains. Yeah, looking at some of these new up-and-comers is a smart move. And I want to try to be. That's why I'm trying to focus on some videos on some of the newer ones, and some that are good for investing, holding long term. I feel safe doing videos on those right now. But for shorter trades on or trying along some of the altcoins, I'm not really pushing those right now. I don't think it's. I think there can still be some better times for the altcoins coming. All right, guys, I'm going to call it a stream, and I am not sure if I'm doing a live stream tomorrow during the day or not. I knew I've got to crank out a video. I'm still trying to figure out which days I'm going on daily. Mondays suck. because that's usually a crazy market day. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday might work out good for day streams. I don't know. I mean, Tuesday, Thursday. Oh, hell. I don't know. I'm still figuring this stuff out as I go. Strega says I'm sleeping in. I probably am too. All right. You guys have a good night, and thanks for hanging out with me. God bless you guys that have been out here for the whole 2 hours. Jeez, talking about Bitcoin. Only altcoin we hit was Kaspa. God bless you guys. Hopefully I shared something that maybe you picked up on. I did have some good strategies in this video for overall. This video is more for investors, I guess, with some of the strategies I talked about on the weekly time frames. All right, good night, everybody. God bless you, and just be careful out there right now.